So I've had a few people ask me this question. So what I thought was I'd do a quick video about it. The question was basically what happens when you follow all the signs and the synchronicities and you follow the trail, and it invariably leads to a bad place. Now this has happened to a couple of people whereby they're being as authentic as possible, following everything and living as authentically as possible, and then something bad happens. And the simple answer to that is it's a lesson. It really is as simple as that. Allow me to elaborate, so to speak. What you're going to find is that this thing called life, this thing called reality, is constantly looking to, in a sense, hold up a mirror to you so you see more and more of what you truly are. Now, what that basically means, a lot of preconceived ideas that you've got and limits that you hold about yourself aren't real, but it's amazing how we invest so much in that. So I believe there's only a set amount I can earn, or there's a certain person I can be in a relationship with, or this is my lot in life, or these are my limits. And what you'll find is when you start, in a sense, engaging that reality and seeing it's you, you'll realize you are, in a sense, limitless. But that's not something that is just going to boom pop and that's it. You realize you're completely and utterly limitless. What you'll find is that slowly but surely, in a fashion that's just right for yourself, life will then, in a sense, start breaking down what you perceive to be right about yourself. So these apparent I'm following the trail and it's taken me to a dead end is basically a way of life showing you what you need, not what you want. Because a lot of people believe that if I'm living authentically, it's all going to be rather blissful, and I'm going to follow my passion, and I'm going to become abundant, and I'm not going to make any mistakes, and it will be so blissed out. No, there will be bad days, and yet there's a wisdom in the bad days. There's a wisdom in the negative emotions. It's something I've said in a previous video. Imagine stubbing your toe. There's nothing but now. And it's similar with a synchronicity or a coincidence that's followed to its logical conclusion. Of what happens, you're in a really bad situation, you are then immediately learning that lesson. And what you also find is when you are thrown in a negative situation, you then learn to cope, and you find that the limits that you held about yourself aren't real. So, for example, you follow your trail, you end up in a bad relationship and stuff, and then you find that you're mentally or spiritually stronger enough to be able to, like, disengage from that, something that you may not have been able to do. So what you find is sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. So when people initially come on to this, yes, there's the initial blissful feelings and everything, and then you get into nitty gritty, the whole kind of, in a sense, inner work, so to speak, and things do get hectic, so to speak, really. But that's where it's best to, in a sense, keep observing and keep trusting that whatever's happening is completely right, because it's the bad days that lead to the good days, and the good days lead to the bad days. And what you're being, in a sense, trained to do by life is recognize the ebb and flow of life in order to be free of it and get to that point that whatever is going on in your life, it's not going to affect you. You're completely unmessable with it, so to speak. So yes, sometimes it's taking you into places where you wouldn't want to look yourself. So what life then does is, knowing that you don't want to look yourself, but you're perfectly capable of dealing this, life will create situations and create incidences where you will then be forced, in a sense, to actually address that issue. Because I get a lot of people who turn up and will be talking about something, and an old issue or something like that will come up, and they'll invariably, it's straight away, it's like, well, I thought I dealt with this. We deal with issues to the level that we're at. So sometimes what can happen is I can deal with an issue, and then further, as I go further down the line, as I've matured or I've become much more as a person, I'll revisit the issue and, in a sense, go that little bit deeper and stuff. And that's what life does. It kind of, in a sense, slowly but surely pushes your limits, and then you start realizing that a lot of your preconceived ideas aren't actually real. And that works most effectively when life throws you in these blindside situations, where all of a sudden it's like, ow, I didn't see that one coming, and hold on, because it makes you question everything. And by questioning everything, you're constantly, in a sense, letting go. You're constantly letting go of that which doesn't support you. So when that happens, life is giving you what you need, not what you want. And again, it's, in a sense, dismantling the ego, dismantling the whole sense of I, because it is, firstly, totally impersonal, and secondly, the thing is, it's like, it is about the destruction of this I, the one that's identifying that, believing they're free, or believing that they are something. In any, in any situation, I mean, in any case, I mean, this is completely humbling. You realize the further you go, it's something I posted up, that the further I go, the less I know. And in that sense, it's a blessing, because you realize that you in a sense become capable of so much more. Your abilities are so much more than you believe, but sometimes you have to be pressure tested, so to speak. So if you're following obviously the trail, you're following it authentically, you follow the coincidences, the synchronicities, whatever you want to call it, and you find yourself at a dead end, invariably there's a wisdom, there's a lesson there, and it's for your benefit. It's again life giving you what you need, not what you want. As I say to people, yes, there's some great teachers out there, and they can really help people change, and really make them, better people, and allow them to realize what they truly are. But there's no one that's going to be better than life. Life can blindside you in ways which are absolutely incredible. But this compassion, which at times can be quite ruthless and stuff, is always ultimately for your benefit. Realizing this authenticity that you are, is in a sense that gift that keeps on giving. But sometimes it can be a bit of a rough ride, and really it's just more about holding on, through that, and trusting the process, so to speak. So that's that on that subject. There are other videos that are going to be happening. There are talks obviously happening up and down the country, so I look forward to seeing you guys. Some of them have been getting some great feedback, so thank you to everybody. And again, if there's anything you want me to talk about, or anything, yeah, drop us a line, and I can obviously drop it, like I can, like do a video on that. But wherever you are, be yourself, be the best possible version of you, be authentic, be real, and have a lovely day, and I will see you on the next video.